Joining us now from the Niagara Sports Report and the voice of the Ice Dogs, the River Lions, the Welland Jackfish, and the St. Catharines Athletics, let's welcome Rod Mawhood. Rod, welcome to the program.
Mike, thanks for having me. It is a different time, that's for sure.
Well, some very different times for you. I mean, with all that you do, you're out there pretty much 7 nights a week voicing these games in the stadiums, in the arenas, and that was shut down for you. How does that affect someone like you, first off?
Well, as a freelancer, it's definitely trying, that's for sure. And I do some things outside of the region as well with other professional sporting organizations, and then absolutely nothing is going on. So it's a tough, difficult time, but everybody's going through it, and everybody's got to get through it, and hopefully we're all better when we get to the other side, so to speak.
The Ice Dog season was cut short, which is pretty much a done deal. And when we look at something like that, the lost revenue for the Burks, for the organization, that's something that they'll never make back. And it's not like they're a professional sports team that can rake in money with all kinds of merchandising.
I had a chance to speak with owner Bill Burke last week, and he said they're into the hundreds of thousands of dollars lost. You're exactly right. And since they arrived in Niagara in 2007, they've also made the playoffs every single season. Now this year, because of you can call it a technicality, but less regulation wins, they weren't set to make the playoffs. But who knows what would have happened if they finished the regular season, because they had the easier schedule than the other opponents fighting for that 8th and final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. So, as I said here, hundreds of thousands of dollars lost for the Niagara Ice Dogs.
And these are really small businesses, and we're worried about a lot of our small businesses. Sporting organizations are amongst them that, may not be able to really dig themselves out of that hole financially.
No, they'll never regain this. And the other thing to look at too, Mike, as you can appreciate, because I know I've seen you at junior athletics games and Ice Dogs games and things like that, is the fact that sports was a distraction for some, a positive distraction to get out and forget about the hardships of everyday life and to forget about the long day at work. And that's been lost as well. So there's two ways to look at this, right? Economically and just socially as well.
I look at the leagues and teams that are supposed to be starting up right now, River Lions, St. Catharines Athletics. We look at the Welland Jackfish. You're involved with all of those teams. First off, looking at the River Lions, they can't even get together to train if this season ever does actually begin.
No more than 5 people in groups. So people forget about that, even if there is a little bit of clearance with arenas being open. So their season, set to tip off in early May, has been postponed. They're hoping, obviously, to get some sort of season in, but that we can go down the list with that, with the Welland Jackfish, with the St. Catharines Junior Athletics. And I know you're well aware. Think about the St. Catharines Junior Athletics, been around since 1877. So you talk about historic franchises and historic moments in sports. That's one that leads the way here in Niagara for sure.
When we look to the future, to the lifting of all of the restrictions, do you think that people will flock to the stadiums, flock to the arenas, or will they be a little bit hesitant to get in amongst the crowd once everything is changing?
Great point, Mike, because exactly, I've discussed this with owners and general managers and players alike, and that's going to be the question. I think people will be hesitant once everything's cleared. Is everybody going to want to go back to a stadium? And I'll tell you this, too, and you'll appreciate this, another aspect, promotions at the stadiums. When they come back, when you pass the pizza down the line, is everybody going to want to touch the same box? There's so many things that go into game presentation that people aren't realizing now. It's going to be an interesting time, and I think it's going to take more than, a week or two to get to fill those stadiums again. That's for sure.
Rod, when you look at the professional sports landscape, there's plans right now for Major League Baseball to bring all the teams to Arizona and run some kind of a season there. The NBA is looking at Nevada. Do you think they're thinking the right way? Do you think that this is something that should be done at this point in time?
I think they should still wait, because you get everybody in there, and who knows? And every day still there's professional athletes. I just saw a day or two ago the first NFL player was diagnosed with COVID-19. I don't know if that's the right way. Now, the difference between pro sports and amateur sports, as we were discussing off the top, is television revenue. So those league commissioners who all had a conference call with the President of the United States, I hate to bring him up during this, but had a conference call a week or two ago, and, they said that people want to see sports, and it's a distraction for them. And with television revenue, those commissioners are all trying. The only one that I haven't heard, you mentioned Major League Baseball in Arizona, and, of course, the NBA in Las Vegas. I know the NHL, and Wayne Gretzky just earlier this week said he can see them playing hockey this summer. But where is that going to be? Is there going to be a place? Maybe that'll be Arizona, where the teams they'll have 3 or 4 games throughout the day. But then the question comes into play, with hockey at least, ice conditions, especially in the warmer months. We hear about that in colder climates come Stanley Cup playoffs. So there's so many different questions and different ideas that have to be passed here, Mike.
So many questions, and you mentioned about how when we look forward to the future, we don't know what that's going to look like, and there could be all kinds of changes. Rod Mawhood, thanks for joining us today, and good luck with that Welland Jackfish home opener online on May 16th.
Mike, thank you, and thank you for everything you do and the whole crew does at Your TV and Cogeco. Always been a fan and appreciate everything you guys do.
Thanks a lot, Rod.